Hello and welcome. Today's topic is really very interesting, S3 Requester Pays. We want you to understand each and every feature of S3 because if you are going to give exam, you will get question from anywhere. Now, if you don't know about specific feature and if they will ask question about it, you will be confused. And we don't want you to become confused because you are CloudFolks student. So, let's start and understand Requester Pays feature of AWS S3. We are going to understand this feature using 3 chapters. So, let's start with the chapter number 1, Introduction. First of all, we need to understand some terminology because if you don't have idea about this, it can confuse you. So, let's start with the first terminology known as bucket owner. A bucket owner in Amazon S3 is an AWS account that created the S3 bucket. The bucket owner has a full control over the bucket and its contents. By default, bucket owner is responsible for paying storage cost, data transfer cost, and put, get, and other request cost. Let's say that if I have one S3 bucket, right now I have one bucket, here I have one bucket name, my bucket name is my shared bucket 01. Now, this is an account, like CloudFolks HUB is an account, created this particular bucket. So now we can say that we are the owner of this particular bucket. We are responsible to pay all the fees related to this bucket. If we are talking about fees, we have to pay storage costs. Let's say that in this bucket, I have one PDF file. I have to pay storage cost of this PDF file. I also have to pay data transfer cost. Let's say that if somebody will download this file, object from S3 bucket, I have to pay data transfer cost, and also I have to pay for the request made by my users. So, yes, if you create any bucket, you have full control over the content of this bucket, but you are paying these 3 charges as well. Now let's understand another terminology known as requester. A requester in the context of Amazon S3 is an entity that makes requests to access object within your S3 bucket. So let's say that I have this particular Lambda PDF file. Now I want that file accessible from others. So others will make a request. They can make request using S3 URL or object URL. Now when they will send request, we call them requester. Now we have 2 types of requester. One, authenticated requester. A requester that uses AWS credential associated with an AWS account. I want to share this particular PDF file, lambda.pdf file with you guys, but there is a condition. If you have AWS account, then you can access this. So I will give you permission. I will give permission to your AWS account and then you can access this. Because you are using your own AWS account, we call it like a cross-account access, but at least you have your AWS account and you are authenticated using your account and then you are accessing this. So in this case, you will call, like we call you, authenticated requester. There is another requester as well, we call it anonymous requester. The requester does not provide any AWS credential. For example, if I am going to make this particular bucket public and now all the objects will be public as well. Now in this case, if you will use this URL of my object, you can download this object inside your bucket. You don't need any kind of AWS account. So, requester can be authenticated requester and anonymous requester as well. Now we are going to move our main topic. What is the meaning of Requester Pays? Requester Pays is a feature in Amazon S3 where the person or entity downloading or accessing the data from S3 bucket pays the cost instead of the bucket owner. As you know that by default, bucket owners actually pays all the fees, storage cost, data transfer cost, put, get, and other request cost. But here, when you enable this particular feature known as Requester Pays, requester will pay cost over here. Requester is not going to pay all the fees, but yes, requester will pay data transfer cost and request cost. Storage cost is again responsibility of the owner because he is the owner of the data, so he is willing to pay the storage cost, but yes, data transfer cost and request cost will be paid by the requester. This feature is useful for the bucket owner who wants to share data but do not want to bear the cost of the data transfer and request. Now this is very useful. Let's say that if there is one university. Now university having data, research data in terabyte, and university wants to share this data with other people or with the student. A university will say that, we are no profit organization. We don't want any money from you. We are actually sharing this research data absolutely free with any student of the world. But here we have problem is the data we have is inside this particular bucket. Now when people from all over the world or students from all over the world, when they will download this data, we have to pay data transfer cost and request cost. We are no profit organization. We are sharing this data by request from the students. So if we are going to pay this data transfer cost and request cost, it will be expensive for us as well. So in this case, what university can do, they can enable requester pay option for their data, for the research data. Now, whenever the student will download any object from this bucket, they will become requester and they need to pay data transfer cost and request cost. And this will be win-win situation for the universities and students as well. So this is the main concept of requester pays. Chapter 1 over. In the chapter 2, we are going to talk more about requester. We call it requester prerequisites. So let's start chapter number 2. Now here we need to understand that what is the prerequisites for the requester. The first, the requester must have AWS account to be built. If you enable requester pays for your bucket, anonymous access is not possible. As you know that there are two types of requester, but anonymous requester cannot access data if you have requester pays option enabled. And this is valid as well. Why? Because if anonymous user is going to access this, how AWS can charge them? So you must have AWS account in order to get access of requester pays enabled bucket. Second, the bucket policy must allow requester to access the data. If you look at this particular object right now, okay, this bucket is actually, if you go to the bucket policy, you will find out that here we don't have any policy, we have no policy attached. Meaning is, this bucket is absolutely private. If it is a private, then nobody can access this. So, in order to allow access of my requester pays bucket, I have to give access to the others. And this is only possible using bucket policy, or we can say that IAM policy. And the last thing is requester needs to include specific header XAMZ requester pays requester in their request to indicate that they are willing to pay for the cost. Now see, this is the most important part of the whole process. Let's say that I have my data, I just enable requester pay option for this bucket. Now you have your AWS valid account and you are downloading object from this particular bucket. Definitely, if you download any object from the bucket which is having requester pay option enabled, after downloading you will get bill from the AWS that you have downloaded all these objects from this particular bucket and you have to pay data transfer and request fees. Now at that time you will say that, oh, why should I pay this bill? Because I was completely unaware about this. I don't know that, bucket owner enabled requester pays option. I just thought that it was free and I downloaded this. Now after this, if you are saying to me that I have to pay bill for this download option and like download object, then why should I pay? You cannot do like this. Why? Because if you are going to download any object from the bucket who is having Requester Pays option enabled, you have to add this particular option in your URL. You need to include this header in your URL, which is giving confirmation to the AWS that okay, you are requester and you are aware that whenever you will download any object from this particular bucket, you will be charged for this because Requester Pays option is enabled. You just added this particular option, means you are giving this confirmation to AWS that you are aware about Requester Pays option. So this is one kind of proof we have for a client or for requester, and it is saying that you are aware as a requester that you are downloading objects from Requester Pays enabled bucket. So this is all about Requester Pay prerequisites, chapter number 2. In the chapter number 3, it is the most important part because now once we are going to perform lab, whole picture will be crystal clear for you. I know that you have lots of questions in your mind that how we are going to enable this, how we are going to set up bucket policy. All your question will be added into the video, so you don't need to worry. Let's start chapter number 3, configure Requester Pays. Sorry, I know that you want to watch full video, but full video is now not available on YouTube. If you want to watch full video, I want you to go to our website. When you will go to our website, you will find out our course 100 Days YouTube Challenge. I want you to enroll for this course by paying only 499 rupees for lifetime if you are from India. If you are from outside of India, you just need to pay $7 US. Once you will enroll to this course, you are going to get all full videos over there on our portal. You are also going to get certificate after completing the course, and we have just uploaded 120 videos. We are going to upload another 120 videos as well. So there will be total 240 videos. I hope we are going to meet inside the class. Thank you very much.